Jeff the Killer, Chapter 6. I continue to stumble over my own feet as I am harshly dragged through the halls by the one known as Jack. Wearing the blue mask, I would have asked him to slow down, but whenever I attempted to talk, he would let out a spine-chilling growl. So I decided to keep quiet. Finally, however, we come to a stop in front of the brown door. It seems similar to all the others. He opens it and forces me inside, slamming the door and locking it from the outside, leaving me alone. I appeared to be in some kind of wet room. There was no sink, no toilet, no bath, just a drain in the dipped center of the floor as one overhead shower hung down, where the light would be. Instead, smaller lights covered the wall, bright enough to make it easy to see. As I look in my room around me, processing it, I suddenly jump as the door is unlocked and opened. Jack steps in, slamming the door, locking it. "Why'd you lock it?" He held in his hand some sort of medical kit and operation equipment. He points to the floor by the drain and clicks his fingers. "Sit!" As it would be best not to piss him off, so I obey him and sit on the floor, extending my leg for him to bend. I would have done this in my operating room. It would have been easier, but I would have forgotten I was helping you and I would have killed you. My heart sunk into my gut and a lump clogged my throat as I gulped his words. He really is dangerous. I could tell, even just by the tone of his voice. It was right about what it said. You guys are murderers. He is not it. His name is Slender Man. Slender for us. You should address him as such. He snapped. I couldn't help lean away. I was really intimidated by him, but I couldn't let my fear show. If I really were to be working here as a bloody maid, I watched as Jack kneels down, unpacking his items and beginning to disinfect my wound. Right? Sorry, Jack. It's EJ. Huh? I was confused. Did you correct me on his name? But I was sure that Slender had addressed him as Jack. But Slender called. I said it's EJ. There is more than one Jack in this place, and I suggest you learn which is who. I remained silent. I could clearly tell in his voice that he was becoming agitated. And then the fact that he was surrounded by medical tools with sharp blades, I wouldn't want to do anything wrong. I watch EJ tilting his head as he puts his disinfectants on my wound, but he scoffs and lifts his head to look at me. You can't feel that? Most people would be screaming with the strength of cleanser, he asked before pushing his finger in the hole of my thigh caused by the twig. It didn't hurt, of course, but I couldn't help cringe and scrunch my face like I sucked on the lemon at the squelching sound and sight of him pushing his fingers in my wound. Why can't you feel that? He asked lowly and quietly, removing his fingers and shaking his head before beginning to stitch my wound and wrapping a tight bandage around my thigh, cleaning up any of the dried and wet blood on my leg. EJ, do you mean, do you have any spare masks? I needed to find a new one. This fabric was not going to last forever. Why? His head snaps up and stares as I hold my hands around my head, holding the fabrics down. The 2 holes I had made for my ears were already ripping. Please? He growls lowly, standing up, unlocking the door and walking out, taking his medical kit with him. I couldn't help but sigh. I guess that was his way of answering no. However, I was too quick to judge. EJ suddenly returns with a mask in his hand, standing over me, holding it down towards me. My hand slowly, shakily reach and grab it, taking it softly. He turns almost instantly and leaves me. But I don't pay him no mind. Instead, I examine the mask. It was beautiful. It was perfect. I smoothly, softly traced my hands over its details. I couldn't help but smile. It was a very faint shade of pink, almost white, but you could just about see the pink shade when it's tilted in the light. Anywhere else it appeared white. The 2 eye sockets were completely blacked out, just like EJ's. I waved my hand behind the mask. I couldn't see them through the eyes, which is good, as I didn't want anyone to see my bloodshot eye and burned skin. If it is just the left side, there is no mouth or nose hole. But as I removed my fabric mask, placed this new one over my face, it was not easily breathable. I fold my fabric mask into a ball and throw it in the bin. No sink, bath, toilet, but there's a bin? Taking a deep breath, adjusting my new mask, I open the door to the wet room and step out, only to have my wrist instantly grabbed and be dragged away, glancing at the source. It was Jeff. I had forgotten Slender wanted him to find me a uniform. Everyone around here is so forceful. He suddenly stops at, yet again, another brown door. Wait here. He orders, opening the door, sliding in, instantly shutting it. I wonder what's in there. I didn't have long to think about it, as Jeff quickly returns with a set of clothes. The black skirt, white shirt, black bow tie, your everyday uniform. The black trousers are for it. Your skirt, it's too dirty. But don't I get a spare shirt? He snarls, grabbing the collar of my doctor's gown, yanking me forward. But as he goes to speak, he stops, looking down at my neck, feeling around before instantly grabbing the chain. I had completely forgotten about the chain and collar. This was not good. This could come in handy. He chuckles with a sly and evil grin before instantly dropping the chain and taking a step back, folding his arms, staring at me. Well, I was confused. What was he waiting for? Once I followed his fixed gaze, I realized he was waiting for me to change into my maid uniform. I can't change here. I need privacy. He rolls his eyes, turning around to face the other direction. That's not what I meant. He groans angrily, turning around and grabbing my chin, walking away in the other direction, pulling me along with him, until he reaches the door. You guessed it, another brown door. I'm so gonna get lost. He opens it and shows me inside, shutting the door, feeling around for some kind of switch. I finally find one. But once the room lighted up, I couldn't help but sigh. I was in a closet full of mops, buckets, and sponges. How humiliating. I rushed to get changed into my skirt, shirt, and bow tie, Jeff banging on the door as he grew impatient. Once changed, I opened the door and step out. Jeff turns to look at me, his gaze fixed as he remains silent, but he soon shakes his head, scrunching his face with anger before storming off. Wait, what about my trousers? I sigh. I wasn't shown a room that I would be sleeping in, so I decided to fold my trousers and keep them neatly in the closet on an empty shelf.